I messed up again. This time I can explain myself. I'm an innocent man, okay? Well, sometimes I say one thing and I do the other, and that's just what's happened this time. But we learned a little bit of a lesson along the way that I want to share with you, and hopefully I can convince you that it's something constructive. It's something good. I just want to take a quick second before we get into the real meat and potatoes of things. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subs by the end of the year. I don't know if that's a realistic goal to set for myself, but I'd like to try and hit it. So if you end up enjoying this video, please consider subscribing. And thank you so much for watching. If you follow me on Twitter, you might already have an idea of what this video is about. But if not, take a look at this tweet. This was T-minus, I think, 3 days until the beta started. This was on October 4th. And I had the genius idea of, hey, I kind of want to go back and mess around with the character that's going to be in the beta. Because for me, for some reason in my head, I had the idea that the character might be pretty similar. And so I went back to play some Chun. Did not have a good time, to be honest. I played her in the beta as well, and I'm glad I did not continue to play her with the idea that it would help me in the next game, because she is a completely different character. Has a stance, has a DP move, is very complex. Juri, on the other hand, was a lot more similar to her Street Fighter V counterpart that I was used to playing a little bit. So in that sense, I ended up lucking out, and my assumption was kind of right. But overall, looking back on it, it's a very stupid idea, you know? But that's not really where the stupidity ends. You see, after the beta, after I finished playing this character for, I don't even know, I think 12 hours I played on the beta, 11, 12 hours, and I only played Juri. But at the end of that beta, I feel like I had a very bittersweet relationship with Street Fighter V, because Street Fighter 6 was so much better. You know, the netcode was everything I wanted, the characters were cool, Juri was cool, and I didn't even plan on like really looking to main that character when the game came out. I was really just looking to play Cammy, you know. But after getting my hands on the game, I was like, oh, this, you know, Juri doesn't feel completely foreign to me. This does have some feeling of Street Fighter V to it and what I'm used to. To me, it felt like a very good fusion of what I like about her Street Fighter V version, mixed with some new useful things and some stuff that is just infinitely better, right? Her store system in Street Fighter 6 is infinitely better than the one that she has in 5. And so at the end of the beta, I was like, well, I know I already said this was stupid, but I was like, man, I miss playing that character already. I'm going to go play some Juri on Street Fighter V. Not to prepare for 6, not with any ulterior motives, but just because I wanted to have some fun. I wanted to have some fun with the character that I played for the past 10 hours on the beta. So I got on my main account and I played some rank. You guys know I like to spread my characters out amongst different accounts, so they all have like their own ranks, how it is in Street Fighter 6, but just for Street Fighter 5. But I've kind of stopped doing that. You know, it doesn't really matter. A lot of things that I thought mattered on Street Fighter 5 before I played that Street Fighter 6 beta have kind of gone out the window, including the video that I happened to make where I said I was just going to play Cammy full time all the time. That's kind of why I called myself a fake and a fraud, and I said I made a mistake. I tend to make some bold claims and say that I'm going to do certain things that just don't always come to fruition, because they end up being a lot harder than I previously anticipated, and then you guys never hear about it, right? I just kind of sweep it under the rug and move on. This time's a little bit different. I want to acknowledge my mistake, and we're going to talk about my probably 4th or 5th character crisis that we've faced on this channel, and it's definitely not the last time. But as time goes on, I think you start to realize what you like in a character besides just their design and the parts of their kit that are really useful, and it makes you like switch between your main and these sub characters, or switch your main. You know, it's important stuff that I think a lot of people don't want to talk about, but it's part of the experience. It's part of the experience of playing fighting games, playing any game really. Another seed of doubt in my head, the doubt that I could make it work just by playing Cammy, was planted months ago. You know, I've been playing the character for a very long time at this point, and I think I'd hoped to see a lot more success than I've been having. But the reason I've stuck it out for so long is because I don't think I had a good idea of what that success, that picture of success really was. I didn't want it to be contingent on wins and losses, but I didn't know what I wanted that criteria to even be. But I found my answer a couple days ago. My goal for that day, my goal pretty much for this whole week, has been trying to read my opponents better. It's a very vague and like ambiguous goal, but I broke it down into a few simple things. I just wanted to realize if they were a wild player, if they were a super defensive and like passive player, or if they were somebody who was actually going to play footsies with me, because that is a whole nother then we can actually play the game. With the other two, you can kind of just rush them down, or you just block and punish. And then once you start playing footsies, you can really start to read your opponent. You know, you start getting defensive habits and offensive habits even, and understanding what it is they like to do. Against a wild player, all they like to do is suppress buttons. You can't really do this kind of process. And the same thing with defensive players. All they're going to do is block and wait for you to mess up, so you can't really do that process either. But when there's a good back and forth, that's when your use of whatever character you're playing can really shine. And I found myself able to do something that I couldn't do with other characters, which was I completely focused on what my opponent was doing. The game became completely about the opponent, as it should be. I was able to identify patterns, predict things, do what I needed to do in order to win without having to think about what my own character needed to do and what I needed to convert into or anything like that. When an opportunity to punish, or when an opportunity to, I don't know, neutral jump and then come down with a button and do a big combo came, I was just ready for it. You know, I didn't have to think about what the optimal conversion was. I just knew, which is very ironic on a character like Juri, because she takes a lot more meter management than anybody else, but I don't know, like I just get it. Not to say I'm mastered the character or anything, but I feel like I have such a better basis, like a better understanding of what I need to do on this character than I ever have had on Cammy. And I really hate to say that about a character that I played for the past 6 months, but I just feel that way. And if you want to use wins and losses as a metric to kind of track that, I made a video a few months ago where I entered full bar with a few days playing Juri, and I went 2-2. That record is better than any record I've had entering a tournament with Cammy, which is very sad. But that's not to say I've wasted my time playing Cammy, because I think characters like that are fundamentally sound, you know, they have a DP, they have a poke, they have an answer to most situations, are good to learn. Also, Cammy in particular is a very unforgiving character. You miss one hit confirm, you spiral across the stage. Rarely will you find anybody above bronze that will ever miss their punish on a spiral arrow. No matter how unoptimal or optimal it is, it's going to hurt. And the same thing with like the first character that I made, Kareen, right? If you miss a confirm on that character, you are -10 right in their face, right? You did a Tenko, you're -10 right in their face. They can punish you with anything they want. You're negative double digits. Playing two characters like that for pretty much my entire fighting game career so far, the past 2-3 years, has taught me a lot and crafted me into a pretty, I'd like to say, well-rounded character. I'm still working on the anti-airs, okay? Give me a break. But as soon as I switch to a character like Juri, who has a good V trigger, you know, she has some options to make herself safe. If you store the fireball and then you I don't know, you do your heavy release, that's -6, but you can cancel it into the fireball and you're safe. Having a little bit of insurance in case, I don't know, you miss a confirm or something, or even just having a good V trigger that allows for some pretty messed up robbery, but giving yourself just that little bit of insurance to mess up a hit confirm, or to give yourself a second chance like all the other characters have in the game, is really refreshing. It feels like I'm playing the game that everybody else has been playing on all the other characters. Not to say that I'm the most, oh, woe is me, I'm playing the most honest characters, Karen and Cammy. I'm just saying they're a lot more unforgiving than others, right? If Abigail misses a confirm, he's got 12,000 million fucking health to bail himself out. Or if you're Balrog, you just dash punch until one hits, you cancel the V trigger, carry him across the screen, guess for game. You know, things like that are frustrating when you're playing a character like Cammy. And you realize that it could all just be so much easier, right? I've developed all these skills playing solid and playing characters that are unforgiving, that I'd like to have a little bit of dirt in my kit to use when I need it. And sure, I can try and play a perfect game of, you know, I can try and play perfect neutral on those other two characters, but why do that when I can give myself some room for mistakes? Anyways, that's kind of what I learned this week. I hope you forgive me for straying from my word like I usually do, but I wanted to try something new, and I think it might pay off. And if it doesn't, then you'll probably see a different character in the next video. You'll probably see Cammy or Karen again. Who knows? Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider subscribing, and I'll talk to you again very soon.